The one thing that can quietly sink a great business idea. It's often not the market or even the competition. Today, we're going to dig into something much closer to home, how bad communication can bring even the best plans to a grinding halt.
So, let me ask you a question. Does any of this sound familiar? Maybe your team has hit a wall, sales are just kind of flat, and you feel like that next level is always just right there, but you can't quite grasp it. What if the real problem isn't what you've been focusing on?
To really get a handle on this, let's look at a real-world scenario. Meet Kian and his business partner, Rohan. These guys have built a great company from the ground up, but now they're stuck. They've hit a major wall, and for the life of them, they can't figure out why.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll look at why their business is at a complete standstill. Then, we'll dive into the communication breakdown. After that, we'll check out the clear strategy they came up with to fix things. And finally, we'll see what happens when you get communication right.
All right, let's jump right in. Part 1, a business at a standstill. This is all about how they started to uncover the real root of their stagnant growth.
So right away, Kian has this gut feeling, and it's pretty telling. He doesn't point fingers at the market or the product or anything outside the company. Nope, he looks inward. He starts thinking, hey, maybe our team communication is the problem. And, that's a massive first step, right? Looking at your own internal processes instead of just blaming the results.
And that instinct leads us straight to the heart of the issue here in our second part, the communication breakdown. Let's really unpack why a lack of clarity can be so expensive for a business.
Rohan just hits the nail on the head. He realizes, wait a minute, a lot of our employees don't really get what our business goals are. And just think about that for a second. If your team doesn't know what the target is, how can they possibly hit it? It's like they're just shooting in the dark, hoping for the best.
There's actually a term for this exact problem. It's called strategic misalignment. It's basically this giant gap that opens up between the company's grand strategy and what people are actually doing on a day-to-day basis. And guess what creates that gap? Almost always, it's poor communication.
This really breaks it down perfectly. Look at the left side. That's one-way communication. It's just leaders talking at their team. And what does that lead to? Well, confusion, low morale, and a ton of mistakes. But then, look over on the right. That's two-way communication. It's a real conversation, a true dialogue. It's about talking, sure, but it's also about listening. And that is how you build trust, spark new ideas, and get everyone on the same page.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. Now for the good part, the solution. Let's move into section 3, forging a clear strategy. And the best thing about this? It's a totally practical framework that anyone, and I mean anyone, can start using.
So Kian and Rohan put their heads together and came up with this really simple but incredibly powerful 4-step plan. Step 1, define and share your goals clearly. Step 2, make active listening a huge priority. Step 3, use the same consistent channels to get your message out. And finally, step 4, practice respectful discussion, especially when things get heated.
Let's zoom in on that third step for a sec, using consistent channels. This is all about picking the right tool for the right message, So you use those regular team meetings for the big picture strategy stuff. You send clear, detailed emails when you need a paper trail. And you use something like WhatsApp for those quick, hey, need this now updates. The whole point is to cut down on confusion by making sure the way you send the message actually fits the message itself.
And this brings us to the core of step 4, which is all about building the right kind of culture. It's about making it safe for people to speak up, to disagree, to talk about problems without fear. When you can get your team to shift from arguing to actually discussing, you're not just solving that one problem in front of you, you're building a team that's way stronger and can handle anything.
So, what's the end result when you actually put all of this into motion? Well, that brings us to our final section, and it's a good one. Strong communication, strong business. Let's talk about the ultimate payoff here.
It really boils down to something this simple. When your communication is strong, your business becomes strong, period. The connection is just so direct you can't deny it. They're basically two sides of the very same coin.
Look, if there is just one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this. Effective communication is not some fluffy soft skill. It is the absolute backbone of any and every successful business strategy. It's literally the skeleton that holds the entire body of your business together.
So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. When you look at your own team or your own business, What is the one communication habit you could change starting tomorrow morning that would make your entire strategy stronger? Just one thing. What would it be?